rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events, this is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to American Perspective. It is a Monday. Yeah, it's a Monday. And the Senate is out on their vacation or whatever the hell it is. So, anyway, I don't know. I don't know. Those people, man, I gotta tell you, the most useless people in the world, I think, are in government. No, I take that back. Leftists are way more useless. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of useless, I am useless because as of right now, I am behind in my pre-show stuff that I do every single time. And so I'm kind of catching up here while I'm doing my monologue. The latest talking point by the Dems has been sent out. That's right. It's been sent out, and now all of the leftist lunatics are all jumping in on it, and they're like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So the latest is, hey, don't listen to us from our past. Only listen to us now. Really? Really? Anyway, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Well, I'm glad that U.S. Abby girl popped in. I was a little concerned that she wasn't going to be here for her Pledge of Allegiance. So let's go ahead and kick that off. If you are of mind, please stand and remove your hat if you're wearing one like me, and follow along with U.S. Abby girl as she recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And, of course, I thank you, U.S. Abby girl, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and attach it to an email, and then address that email to me. Send it off to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online, and I will get you into the rotation. I have 25 of these, and I would like to get 26. So if you haven't sent yours in, I want to get 26 by the end of the year. If you haven't sent yours in yet, I encourage you to do so. And if you utilize your phone to record yourself performing the pledge, all you need to do is utilize that share option. That's the S-H-A-R-E option. And you'll be able to send that off to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation as quickly as possible. All right. Well, everybody's commenting on my nice yellow shirt. Yeah, this here's a yeller feller, that's for sure. Well, that's the reason why I have the black background, too, by the way, which I can see the sun is kind of messing with my green screen right there. There's a window right there where you can see it. I'm not afraid to tell you the truth. Okay, so yeah, that is not part of the graphic. That is actually the sun coming in from the window here in the studio. Most of the time you don't see it. But yeah, this time you do. So the reason why I'm wearing this wonderful yellow shirt, I've worn it before. I have. You guys may not remember it though, because I got ridiculed. I got ridiculed over it. And by that, I mean because it faded me out. It faded me out. So this is the shirt right here. Yeah, this is the shirt that I'm wearing right now. The front, of course, has this is the front of it. Small. It's kind of a small don't tread on me. See? And then the back. Whoops. The back actually has also the don't tread on me as well. Ugh. Keeps kicking me over that way. Anyway. So there you go. And of course, this is, yeah, it makes me look pale. I'm sorry, I'm a white guy. What do you expect? Believe me, you can't get any whiter than me. I am like all European ancestry, okay? Anyway. Yeah, thanks, Three Chevy. You just jumped right in and said exactly what I said. Anyway, great minds think alike. Anyway, as I was saying, you can gain this fabulous shirt by heading off to theflagshirt.com, which is tonight's headline sponsor. Go to theflagshirt.com. Nope, not that one. Go to theflagshirt.com and check out all of their styles. Their men's, women's, made in the USA, all kinds of kids' accessories in the red, white, and blue. Check it all out by going to theflagshirt.com. And when you order $75 or more of their product, they will provide you with free shipping. And I got to tell you, they are good at free shipping. I'm on the opposite corner of the country of the lower 48 states from where they are. They are based in Florida. I'm on the opposite corner of the country. You know, you drive an hour and a half from where I'm at, and you're in Canada, buddy. Anyway, they are able to get orders to me within 1 week. Like, I order it on a Monday, it's to me by Friday. That's how fast this stuff is. So you guys should, definitely check this out. You get them quick. Anyway, go to theflagshirt.com. Check out all of their styles. Like I said, this one here is the one I'm wearing right now. The Don't Tread on Me shirt. Now, mine kind of looks a little more orange than yellow, but hey, it says what it says, and it doesn't say what it doesn't say. Thank you, Antonin Scalia. Anyway, head on over to theflagshirt.com and get yourself patriotized. All righty. Yeah. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. Here's the danger that we have here in America. We'll get to, the new Dem talking point here in just a minute, but this is the new danger. Okay? And I'm not picking on them necessarily. I'm just saying what they say. That's it. That's all I'm talking about right here. So apparently there's a new poll out, according to the Pew Research Center, that took it from July. So they did a survey in July, and apparently, people talk about Muslims in America, and they sit here and they say, oh yeah, the Muslims in America, oh no, all they want to do, they're not interested in anything else. All they want to do is come here to America for a better life, to be able to practice their religion in peace. It is a religion of peace. They're not hating on anybody, so on and so forth. They don't align with it. All they want to do is go to work, raise their families, and live in peace and practice their religion in peace. Really? And why is it that 44% of the Muslims that were surveyed by the Pew Research Center this past July, why is it that 44% of them are saying, we support a terror group known as Hamas? Wait, what? You support terror. That's right, 44% say that they support terror. Now, here's the other part of the equation. It's not so much that they support terror. I mean, that's bad enough as it is. But the other part of the equation is that only 26% of those same people have a favorable view of Israelis. Seems to me that if a person were just to come to America with the idea that all they want to do is practice their religion in peace, go to work, raise their family, you probably wouldn't have all these, we'll call it prejudices to these people. You wouldn't have prejudices. See, I made a comment, and this is serious. Even moderate Muslims, I'm have yet to be absolutely proven wrong here. Even moderate Muslims have zero desire to live in harmony with other religions. None. They have no desire to do so. And it's because of the fact that it is their religion that is literally, its whole purpose is to take over the world. Its whole purpose is to eliminate all other religions. Now, it doesn't necessarily, and this is some of the arguments that these people make, is that this isn't necessarily it's not necessarily a war, like an out-and-out war, but yet it is. See, the Muslim religion over the course of history has been one of the most violent. Second, I would say only to communism. So it seems kind of interesting that the two of them have come together into this big tent here in the United States. You know, the big tent that the Democrats keep talking about. Well, more Dems are saying, maybe this tent isn't really all that big. Maybe we need to, stop this. So there are more Democrats beyond just Senator John Fetterman who are now speaking out. They're talking about nuking the big tent, and they're pointing out the obvious, that the far left doesn't want to have a big tent with the centrists. That the far left wants the entire ball of wax. They want the whole thing. They want everything. Yeah. That's what they're looking for. They want to take it over. And you know what? James Carville, again, the Raging Cajun himself, he's a bit of a nutball, but the Raging Cajun himself, man, he keeps saying the exact same thing. He's like,
they don't want us under the tent. That's the thing. Everybody says, the tent's big enough. They don't want us under the tent. The DSA people, they're not interested in hands across the ocean. No.
They don't want me, and I don't want them. So we got massive agreement here. Okay? You don't want to be in the same political party as me. I don't want to be in the same political party as you. Let's go to 2028 and find out what this party is. And if it's your party, great. As Ms. Harper said, I'm going to be dead anyway. So who cares?
Oh, he's like, who cares? Well, a few 100 million Americans care. Yeah. All of us who are actually red-blooded Americans who aren't interested in destroying the very foundational documents, the very foundations of our institutions that have lasted us for 250 years. Yeah, not interested. I'm not interested in partnering up with any of these people because that's what they're after. They want to destroy America. That is it. Now, the sad part about all of this is that, Carville, if you looked at him 5, 6, 7 years ago, he was talking a lot of the same talking points that these DSA leftists are talking about, like defunding the police, packing the court, so on and so forth. There are a lot of commonalities between people like Carville, who claim that they're moderates, they're centrists, but they went ahead and let the damn DSA monster into their house. And they're wondering why everything is breaking down right now. They're wondering why. See, they spent the last 10 years just attacking Trump and not paying attention to what's happening here in America. Yeah. See, yeah. They just don't seem to get it. They don't understand that they're the ones that let the monster in, and they've given the monster the ability to stay. It's sort of like that guest that you bring into your house and you say, hey, come on in. Yeah, you're kind of a good guy. I mean, I can tell. Come on into the house. Hey, feel free to eat out of the refrigerator, take mi casa, su casa. And then next thing you know, that same guest eating you out of house and home, expects you to clean and cook and do everything for them. All they do is sit on the couch and watch TV and take advantage of all of this. Yeah. I'm sorry, but you guys have got, and by that I mean Democrats, you guys have got some serious cleanup to do. You let the rodents in the home, and you got to bomb the damn thing. And I'm not talking about bombing it like physical bombing, unless you count like a raid bomb. Anyway. All right, moving on. That was very poor. All right, well, the favorite. Oh, I never heard him say that there, G, but okay. He says fish and guests stink after 3 days, and he's attributed that to Ben Franklin. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, all right. The darling of the left, the darling of the socialists. That's right. The bartender herself. I don't know if she was a bartender or a waitress. I don't know. But anyway, the bartender herself, AOC, she caught the talking point for sure. Because she basically is saying, hey, you know what? You guys need to stop. You guys need to stop. Voters, seriously, voters, you need to just listen to us today. You just need to listen to what we are saying today. Forget about everything in the past. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. The past is past. You could go Kamala Harris on it, and yesterday was yesterday, tomorrow is tomorrow, and today is today. And yesterday leads into today, which leads into tomorrow, and tomorrow was yesterday before it was tomorrow, I think. Or something along those lines. She's got such circular logic, I don't even think you can't even call what she does logic. I really can't. Anyway, moving on from that point. AOC, she's basically like, hey, you know what? You guys, all you voters, stop listening to all of the tapes of us saying all of these crazy crap stuff, because you know what? And pushing anti-white hate and pushing all this stuff. You gotta move beyond that. That means nothing. That was all under woke one. Wait, what? I didn't think there was a second. I thought is this now considered, I mean, is what the left doing considered woke 2.0? If that's the case, I really don't want it. I didn't want woke 1. I sure as hell don't want woke 2.0, or even if this is woke 1.2. I don't care. I'm not interested. But she's urging people, especially because of the fact that now all of a sudden you've got a whole bunch of DSA nut jobs who are all talking about all kinds of crazy crap, who are in positions of possibly taking power in certain localities. One of those people is a woman named Francesca, I don't know how it's pronounced, Hong. Yes, Francesca, Ms. Hong. She hates Thanksgiving. She's criticized. Seriously, sit down for this one. I'm telling you, you're going to be, if you are a parent and you ever hear another parent say this, oh my good Lord. She has criticized the whiteness of her own husband and son. Yeah, I'm not lying to you here. I'm sorry. Francisca Hong. Ocasio-Cortez, AOC says, I think that there's a lot of these races, even right now, have a tendency to be nationalized. But these races are ultimately local. All politics are local. My understanding is that Francisca Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate. She moved away from it. Really? Really? She didn't move away from it. AOC says, I have a local city councilman who has this saying, woke 1 was crazy. And then she started laughing. And then she says, and I think what's important is that we have to assess what a candidate is saying now. No, we have to assess what a candidate did say and is saying. Because unlike most people today who have basically the memory of a gnat, all of these people have been saying all of this crazy crap, this anti-American crazy crap for their entire lifespan. I mean, seriously, they have. Yeah. So, yeah, here, let me just listen to her herself. Oh my God, here we go.
I think that during this time and especially during COVID, there was a huge opening of the Overton window. We were shut down. There was some of the highest unemployment rates that we have seen because of those shutdowns. Yeah. And I think that the doors were really open in trying to entertain any and every policy that was going to get us to a better place. And I actually think that the discussions that were had in that time were quite fruitful. I think that when we talk about crime today, it's fundamentally different than the way that we talked about crime in bringing crime down, right? And I think that we all share in the goals of having as low a crime rate as possible. I think that, during lockdown, of course, rhetoric in that time is not rhetoric that we would use today. And I'm grateful that these candidates have the opportunity to present who they are to their electorate and what they're campaigning on. And
yeah. I'm sorry. Every time I see AOC, I keep thinking of Donkey from Shrek. Anyway, moving on. She didn't really say a whole heck of a lot with this. Anyway, right. She thinks that, you ought to listen to the people as they talk about today. She's talking about, this is during, keep in mind, this was during the era that the notion of defunding the police actually worked, which it didn't, because police departments tried to defund themselves, and, it didn't quite work out. the huge violent protests for Black Lives Matter, which cost the nation somewhere around 31 lives and billions of dollars in damage. Yeah, Americans were told that protesting against the COVID lockdowns, schools, businesses, and church closures was racist, but that protesting against racism, when there was none, was essential, because that scourge was a bigger public safety threat than COVID. Yeah. Anyway. So basically what I think she's trying to say is that Woke One opened up the door. People said crazy crap during Woke One, and now we have potentially Woke Two. Woke 2 could be even worse than Woke 1. Yes. Oh, because they're willing to say anything. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, I don't know. She's just lost. By the way, for anybody who is curious as to who I'm talking about with Francesca Hong or whatever her name is, this is her. This is the crazy woman herself. Right there. There you go. All right. There she is. That's the nut job. You know what? This woman, I'm sorry, I got distracted because I just read this and I had to reread it because it sort of looked weird. Anyway, when she was initially asked about wanting to cancel Thanksgiving, which is something that she raised back in 2021, 5 years ago, just saying, she told CNN last week that the Thanksgiving holiday is a time that is incredibly painful for many people in our communities. Huh? Wait, Thanksgiving is painful? I'm doing the her. Anyway. Yeah. All right. Well, that being said, AOC. Oh, she decided to do something I don't think I would ever. I mean, I didn't watch the video, please. I'm just like, not, really not interested in seeing her offspring. What is it about young people? I'm sorry. I'm just asking. What is it about young people? I mean, I see young people with social media, and I'm not necessarily being overly critical, but in a way I am being overly critical. Because, let's be honest here. I really don't need to know what you've eaten morning, noon, and night. I don't need to see the plate. I don't need to know that, oh, hey, I'm taking a dump. Oh, hey, I'm in this restroom at a restaurant, and oh my gosh, it's the nicest restroom I've ever been in. Here's a video. Really? And I especially do not need to know your medical, like, oh my gosh, I'm in the hospital now because, I have a abscessing cyst on my leg. Here's a photo of it. Yeah. Yeah, well, apparently AOC seems to think that her decision to freeze her eggs she posted this, I don't know, this video or whatever. I don't know what she's doing. But anyway, she posted this thing. She goes, I have made the decision to start freezing my eggs. Because I was weighing it for a very long time, and I think that I was saving it for a very long time. She says, when you get elected young, you have to grow up in the public eye in a time that most people usually get to grow more privately. Yeah. So here she is. She's got another photo here. Because again, she's posting this behind the scenes video. Okay? She's posting this behind the scenes video of her. I don't know what this is. I'm not a woman. Couldn't tell you that right now. And I don't really understand or really know or really care to know the process of how to freeze your eggs. Okay? But apparently she was hoping that sharing this experience was going to help normalize conversations about fertility, pregnancy, menopause, perimenopause, PCOS, and all kinds of other aspects of women's health. Yeah. She goes, as women in general, we are not taught about our bodies. She's referencing puberty, pregnancy, perimenopause, menopause, conditions including PCOS. I got a question. You're not taught that? How are you not taught that? I thought everybody goes through this thing called, health class. I'm just asking. I really she says, I think we need to show more depictions of women having full lives in every context and every choice. How much do you want to bet if there was and I'm sure there is, if there was a conservative woman who essentially posted and said, you know what? I am telling you all about how I met my husband. We didn't have sex until we were married. We now have, 1, 2, 3, whatever kids. We go to church every day. I bet you that AOC would hate that. I bet you that AOC, if she were to see that, would be like all over it. Okay? Anyway. She also, of course, had to make it about Trump. She also had to make it about Trump. Because she basically says in the video, she's like, well, I'm doing this because of the fact that, Trump is going to take away, is creating an extremely or increasingly hostile environment for women's reproductive choices. Really? I don't know anything that Trump has done that is taking away any woman's right to reproduce. Or not. We'd prefer that you don't, AOC. But yeah, anyway. She's like, in the political context that we're in an administration that is dedicating to politicizing women's bodies. No, he's not politicizing a woman's body. You idiots did that. Anyway, and taking our choices away from us. What choice? You don't have a choice. You get pregnant. Actually, you do have a choice. You have a choice to not get pregnant. There you go. And if you do get pregnant, you have the choice to make the best of your life for that baby. That's your choice because you've created a life. And killing it, honestly, killing an innocent life is, against Jesus' teachings. Okay. Anyway, she, of course, lied and said, frankly, this administration has made pregnancy more dangerous than probably at any point in the last 30 plus years. Oh, I doubt that. I highly doubt that. Anyway, so she decided to go ahead and freeze her eggs. Well, and she's saying that the Trump administration made it horrible. No, actually, I think COVID has made it more dangerous in the last 30 plus years. Why do I say that? I know. Bad segue to bring it over to Fauci, but here, we're going to bring it over to Fauci for a second. Apparently, Fauci on his phone, do you remember that iPhone? His government iPhone? Well, apparently they found a text on there where Dr. Anthony Fauci questioned the second shot. That's right. He questioned the second dose of the COVID shot because he said theoretically it could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. But oh no. That's not what he said in front of everybody. Now, the reason is not because of the shot necessarily itself, but rather the human body's response to the shot. And that response brings on, apparently, a strong fever and a cytokine, cytokine response that the shot often triggered. But yet, during all the time, and this is the text right here. There it is, right there. You know? Anyway. So I'm just saying right now, I'm telling you, there's so much stuff that we haven't uncovered about this, but that's not what this show is all about. Anyway. Yeah. All right. Well, moving on. Hey, remember AOC said we're not supposed to, discuss the past. Well, if you're in Texas and you're about ready to cast a vote for James Talafrico, you might want to actually listen to something by James Talafrico.
2010s again stirred some controversy by housing an undocumented family, a mother and son who were close to being deported by ICE. And so, again, the idea that Christianity is just another word for causing trouble.
So he just admitted on video that he harbored an illegal alien. Knowingly harbored an illegal alien. Now, wait a minute. I seem to recall talking about this just this last Saturday. What was it? Oh, yes. Title 8, Section 1324. Really? Really? Okay. Well, he harbored him. Now, granted, you can sit and argue or talk about or whatever, regarding the whole thing with whether or not it's Christian to do it or, whatever. You can argue about the law, but that is the law. You're supposed to follow the law. Anyway. He apparently also expressed his belief. Now, this is really screwed up. This guy claims to be a Christian. He really does. He claims to be a Christian. But he apparently also expressed a belief that conservative Christians were what he calls Christo-fascists for advancing policies like bans on abortion and bans on sex changes for minors and school choice voucher programs and displaying the 10 Commandments. What? This is his quote. He goes, all of these ideologies stem from this Christo-fascism movement, which essentially, like I said, is just using faith to exercise raw political, social, and economic power. I think it's dangerous to all of us, but particularly to those who are marginalized and oppressed in our state. I think Talafrico needs to open up his Bible. The actual Word of God. Because, Anyway, now, of course, the Talarico campaign has attempted to backpedal from all of these shocking statements. Claiming that Talarico is actually a moderate Christian who believes in border security and supports law enforcement. Yeah, he does. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Now, obviously, his spokesperson or spokesman, I don't know, is it a man or is it a person? Anyway, put out a statement or said, James is a Christian seminarian, whatever the hell that means, who's dedicated his life to the teachings of Jesus Christ. No, he isn't. He's not even come close. He still doesn't even know the teachings of Jesus Christ. Fighting religious and political corruption when he sees it. Because there's nothing Christ-like about powerful people twisting the teachings of Jesus to justify hate, violence, and greed, the spokesman told Fox News. Continued and says, quote, while billionaire-bought politicians like Ken Paxton attack James for his faith, he will continue encouraging Texans across the political spectrum to come together by loving their neighbors as themselves. Yeah, but does he also understand that Jesus said that children were like the most precious and that you're not supposed to kill an innocent, which is the definition of murder? This guy obviously doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. Oh, and let's not forget the fact that James Tallarico says that God is non-binary. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. About the only part of that Trinity that could be considered non-binary would be the Holy Spirit. But I don't know very many spirits that actually have any kind of a sex or gender assigned to them. So, anyway. Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you heard this, but I don't think that he gets. Here's Tallarico on Joe Rogan's show.
Here's the biblical evidence to support the opinion of being pro-abortion.
I think the story I would go to is the story of Mary. Mary is probably my favorite figure in the Bible, the mother of Jesus. And, you know, she's an oppressed peasant teenage girl living in poverty under an oppressive empire as a Jew. And she has a vision from God that she's going to give birth to a baby who's going to bring the powerful down from their thrones, going to scatter the proud, who's going to send the rich away empty. I mean, this revolutionary song that she sings, it's called the Magnificat. And it's actually been banned by certain authoritarian regimes because it is so radical. But I say all this in context of abortion because before God comes over Mary and we have the incarnation, God asks for Mary's consent, which is remarkable. I mean, go back and read this in Luke. I mean, the angel comes down and asks Mary if this is something she wants to do. And she says, if it is God's will, let it be done. Let it be. Let it happen. So to me, that is an affirmation in one of our most central stories that creation has to be done with consent.
What does he think? I honestly ask this question. Does he think that all abortions are because people have been raped or didn't give consent? 98% of abortions are from consensual sex and performed as a manner of convenience. I don't understand this guy. How can he be considered a preacher and even talk about this? And by the way, I'm just going to ask, I mean, that's actually a damn good question there, 3 Chevy. He goes, what about the baby in the situation? Babies don't consent to be aborted. I mean, the whole purpose of sex across every single species on Earth is procreation. That's the whole purpose of sex. The fact that the dolphins and humans use it for fun is irrelevant in the conversation. Seriously. Amy asks, what denomination is he? He professes to be a Christian. What that is, I have no idea. I can tell you it's not Protestant. I'm fairly certain it's not Lutheran. It definitely isn't Catholic. So I don't know. He claims to be a Christian minister, whatever that means. I mean, that could mean all kinds of stuff. Seriously? Yeah. Anyway, by the way, let me just finish this out. Let me see if he has anything further to say here.
You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that we engage in as human beings, but that has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom, and to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus. And so that's how I come down on that side of the issue. Again, I'm very open for my.
So wait a minute. Everything has to be done with consent. Well, okay. Two people consented. I'm just going to ask this. What the hell does that have to do with the price of tea in China when it comes to abortion? Because what he's trying to advocate here is that two people have to consent in order to agree to the act of creation. They have to consent. Okay? What about the act of destruction of the life that was created? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Where does the consent of the father come into play with the whole abortion thing? If you're going to say, hey, you know what? The act of creation must be done by consent. Okay? We know both parties. Guess what? There has to be a male. There has to be a female. You cannot have two females. You cannot have two males. That is pure biology. 100%. Okay? Where is he getting this idea? Where is he getting this idea that I just, my gosh, people, if you are listening to this idiot, you have got to clean your damn brains out. Get some intelligence. Learn. My God. Oh, this person is just a complete, utter, stupid moron. All right, well, he's not the only one, though. I mean, we just talked about AOC freezing her eggs because she thinks that Trump is taking away reproductive rights. Nothing of the fact has even happened. Well, let's move up north of Texas, go all the way up to Michigan. Well, I don't know where these people... Honestly, I don't know where these people really pull these people, where they get them from. I mean, it's like they're scraping the damn gutter for these people. Anyway, Abdul El-Sayed, he actually spoke the truth out loud. He did. Seriously. I'm amazed. But here's the problem, is that people apparently aren't listening to the truth.
Americans worry, though, you can only make Medicare free and universal if you increase taxes. So if you are elected and make this push, would you need to increase taxes?
As I've said across this campaign, I am for taxing billionaires their wealth.
What about people who make less than $1 billion and less than $1 million, though, Dr. El-Sayed? What about people making less than $1 million?
So for the average person, and you look at your W-2, if you're an employee who gets paid every 2 weeks or 4 weeks, after you pay your taxes, the next biggest check that comes off the top of your pay stub is to your health insurance company. So imagine instead of paying that to your health insurance company, whose CEO makes $20 million a year, instead you paid a little bit more in taxes for health care that you wouldn't lose if you lost your job or turned 26 or got married or got divorced. I think all of us would be a lot more interested in that kind of a system if we knew that our health care would be free at the point of care and would be free without having to worry about losing it in general. So there's an opportunity here, I think, to trade what we give to a big corporation who gets to decide who we get to see and who we don't for a little bit more paid into FICA. And I think that's a trade that's worth making. I think the...
Okay, so I got a question. There's this thing that is running right now that we have because we had no other choice. It's this thing called Obamacare. And do you remember when Obamacare came out? Oh, yeah, if you like your doctor, you get to keep your doctor. Oh, and by the way, healthcare costs are going to go down, not up. And what happened? Obamacare passed. Everything went up. All insurance premiums went up because all of a sudden now everybody, regardless of the ability to pay, everybody was being given health care that was subsidized by the government. Which, again, I'm going to point out, these socialist idiots, they go off and they go, oh, yeah, Finland and Sweden and all these European socialist countries, they're not socialists. They're not actually socialists over there. That's not the case. They're social-like, but they're not socialists. Because socialism, by far, is the government controlling the means of production. But all of these programs that you're talking about in terms of seizing taxes in order to do, all you have to do, seriously, if anybody wants anything in terms of an example of how well the federal government is going to be able to run things in a national healthcare system, all you have to do is look at the VA, period. Just look at the VA. Well, if you want to know how a government-run healthcare system is, you want to know why people from Canada are coming here to the U.S. in order to get medical procedures and paying it completely out of pocket? Because of the fact that they can't get seen. They get put on a waiting list. And half the time, your condition is already gone by the time you get on into the doctor, if it's just something minor. And in some cases, nowadays, Canada is even looking to hey, we're going to make it easier for you to kill yourself. We want to make it easier for you to kill yourself. So, yeah. I mean, seriously. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. You want go over to the UK. People talk about the healthcare system over there, and they say, oh, it's just so great. Yet you're on waiting lists forever. And that's assuming that you can even get seen. You've got to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to have gallbladder surgery in say 10 more years. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up for the appointment today. Well, what's wrong with your gallbladder? Oh, nothing. I'm just expecting it to happen. So we're just going to go ahead and pre-plan. So 5 years from now, I'm going to have my surgery. Okay? There you go. By the way, too, just so you know, this El Sayed, which, by the way, I'm never going to call him a doctor. Never going to do it. He is not a doctor. He might be have a doctorate degree, but I'm never going to call a doctor. I'm never going to call him doctor. All right. Anyway, that being said, his wife apparently is a psychiatrist. Sometimes I think the jokes just start writing themselves. But apparently, this whole Medicare for all kind of thing, yeah, she's not too happy about it. Because according to the Washington Free Beacon, her practice, she will not accept any insurance, not even Medicare. Huh. I can't even understand this. Yeah. See, Syed keeps talking about Medicare for all. He's like, I literally wrote the book on Medicare for all, his website states. He goes, and I'm the only candidate for the U.S. Senate in Michigan running to guarantee health care for every single American. Oh, well, wait a minute. Dude, hello? You ever read this? Apparently not. And even if you did, it probably would give you explosive gastrointestinal whatever. But there's nothing about Medicare in here that the federal government is or medical health care that the federal government is supposed to be in charge of. Nothing. Not a single thing. Anyway. Yeah. Well, his wife practices. She received her medical degree from Columbia University, Vagelos College of Physicians and Surgeons. She's clear about her refusal to accept insurance. Her FAQ section of her website says, "Do you accept accept my insurance?" She goes, "No." Yeah. Anyway. These people, I'm telling you, they're just gone. They're just gone. Well, I'm at the point now where it's like, dude, if you're going to be voting for these people, which, by the way, you know how AOC says you got to listen to the people today, not from the people from beyond? Well, this person is a DSA person. And here she's being interviewed. Take a listen to this jumble of BS. Oh, come on. Okay. I hate it when these clips don't run. Give me just a second here. You refresh the page.
Policy agenda on law enforcement is to defund police, ultimately to get rid of police departments, correct?
Well, what I would say is that we're dramatically overspending on police right now.
I understand, but the goal is to defund the police departments so we don't need them in the future.
I think it's what we really want to see is a horizon where folks are not reliant on armed enforcement to meet our public safety needs.
Right, but it says defund police on the website. That's your goal. And also to get rid of prisons and jails, correct?
Yes.
So if my daughter is assaulted and raped, is there any agency that would seek to find her assailant and bring him to justice?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
What
absolutely.
would it be if not police, and where would he be if not a jail?
So I guess I really want to avoid getting kind of caught into these hypotheticals and talk more about the reality that we're actually facing right now, which is that we're spending in absolutely outrageous amounts of money on police and policing, and we're not spending money on things that actually make people safe and feel safe.
Hold up. Yeah, we are spending a lot of money on police because you people let all the criminals out. Wow. Anyway, I don't have time for this. Oh, all right. That's only because the absolute wonderful and, dare I say beautiful? I don't know if I can say beautiful, because if I say beautiful, she might get offended. But anyway, here you go. Here's the.
You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're grade A, number one, bona fide first class. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. And you'll be one all your dumbass life.
That is. These people. If you're voting for these people, you're just as stupid. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry. No, actually, I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. You are. If you're voting for these people, you're just as stupid. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor. If you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com. Get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, too, don't forget my new streaming platform, pilled.net, Pilled.net. Go and check it out. maybe sign up for an account. You know, go from there. Anyway, don't forget on your way out to give me a red pill on Pilled, or a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or even a thumb sideways or at an angle if you're 3 Chevy across all my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, the aforementioned Pilled, and the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.